We are all part in the biggest experiment ever done to our human society. Let's talk about why we need diversification now. Hi, I'm Oliver and welcome to AskMeStartup, the channel where we talk about startups, small businesses and the world that surrounds them. Today's topic is important and relevant to everybody, no matter if you have a small business, a startup, or you have a job or have no job. Why will you need diversification in the future? Now, we've all been through this very, let's say, unusual year with the biggest experiment ever conducted in the human society, the lockdowns and the pandemic. This is so unusual and it has actually triggered some effects that will last and some things that will have changed forever. One of the factors that became very obvious is that if you do not diversify your income, you're screwed. Today, there is no remorse on keeping people's job, or nobody regrets firing off people just like this. On the one side, businesses have to, on the other side, they don't care. Furthermore, it is so important now that you understand that this is going to happen ever more so often in the future. Pandemics like this, I have a PhD in biochemistry. I've been exposed to this type of thinking all a long way. And in the scientific community, it was never a question of if a pandemic will happen, just when a pandemic will happen. And we were just lucky that the pandemic that hit us now wasn't too bad. So it is crazy and maybe not the best of the world, but it doesn't kill people like the Spanish flu has done. Nonetheless, you can expect, and as you can see in Great Britain, that these viruses will mutate. You can expect to have more pandemics in the future than ever before. And for that reason, you need to diversify your income, because otherwise, the next time a pandemic hits, you're screwed again. This is true for any business. This is true if you have a job. Now let's take myself as an example. I had to go to short-term work this year at the beginning of this year because nobody knew what's going on. We were running a clinical study and suddenly everything came to a stop. Poof. All nurses taken away, all sample collecting gone. I was like, wow. And so we had to shut down the company for a couple of months. Now, I was fortunate because my wife started getting a new job this year and she was working in a totally different industry and she wasn't affected. So our whole household income was kind of, balanced. We were fine. Nonetheless, we were also diversifying in rental income. So we had 3 different streams of incomes, which made our life acceptable, right? We were not doing perfectly well as we were expecting, but we were doing much better than many others that rely on one job. Now I know that many people may have 2 or 3 jobs just to get around, just have enough dollars to survive. But that's not the point. This is a political question. I cannot, ensure a job payment being sufficient to survive. This is a government's job to ensure that there are no wages that are below poverty level. Nonetheless, the key question or the key point of this video today is you need to diversify your income no matter what, because you have to be prepared for the future. I can guarantee you another situation like this will come. It might not be a pandemic, it might just be a local issue. It might be an earthquake, it might be whatever, volcano eruption. Things are going to go nuts and people are going to get fired and going to have a hard time. That's why you need to diversify income geographically and also business-wise. In our company, for instance, there is a guy working 40% one in our company, 40% another company. 2 different businesses that have a slight correlation, but not a big one. Hence, he doesn't bother. If one company goes bust, he's fine. He still has his 40% income and can pay off his bills, and then he looks for another job or another income source or makes his own business, whatever. You have to think the same way. And I'm sure that more and more people, especially freelancers, for instance, they will have different sources of income. Many have got no income because they have just, a lump risk of having one specific income source or one specific customer that they work for 90% of the time. Get rid of this. You have to get rid of your lump risk. You have to diversify your income to that extent that you are able to survive no matter what is up your doorstep. And if the current situation told us one thing, we have no influence whatsoever on what is imposed upon us. You have no influence whatsoever on what restrictions you have to accept in the future. You might not like them, you might, vote against them, you might be even aggressive, and it doesn't help you. If we're in a situation like today, a virus doesn't care about political rules. They don't care. It is non-discriminatory. It just goes by the rules of nature. And these ones we have to obey. So please, when you're now going to have, let's say, the most unusual Christmas most likely that you've had, and for those of my audience that is not celebrating Christmas, the next days, just maybe take a second and take a minute, relax, and rethink what you've been going through this year. And think what you could do to diversify your income. It doesn't need to be 50-50. It can be 10% here, 20% there. Whatever is possible, think of this. And the same is true for businesses. Businesses always have the issue that if they're just focusing on one thing, they might be out. If you're selling drinks and you're out of the shelves of Walmart, you might be in big trouble. So you have to diversify your distributor networks. This has already been tough prior, but now it's even worse. And today, having a loyal customer base is the most essential thing that you can have. Hence, think of ways to interact with people digital so that they are aware and can connect to you directly without any intermediary, because you cannot control the intermediaries. You might not even control your own company, but then because everything's been shut down and there's no transportation, look at England right now, they have shut down the borders because of a mutation of virus. All those truck drivers, they're screwed because they cannot go back for Christmas. Things like this are unpredictable, but will happen. Hence, you have to diversify and take this risk thinking into your personal life. Please take this serious, rethink your current situation. If you got questions, just drop a comment down below and say, I am not quite sure what to do or whatever, or have a discussion with me. I'm very helpful. I would like to help you as much as I can with my know-how that I have right now. And please be prepared. That's the only thing I can say. We're currently in a situation where life is going to change dramatically, and we have to take for granted that the situation will not improve the next year. Even if it picks up afterwards, there will be changes, and I will do a new video most likely next week on industries that will be affected crazily about this current pandemic and that will change forever. But you have to be aware that things are not going to go back to normal as it has been in the past. It can't. It will always be a new norm in the future. And as you are my viewer and you made it that far in the video, I thank you very much for paying attention to this, and I hope that I can put that thought of rethinking, recalibrating your own situation for the next few days and let it sink in, discuss with family, and then hopefully come up with a plan how to improve it the next year. By this, I wish everybody watching this video right now a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you for watching. Thank you for paying attention to AskMeStartup, and thank you for being part of this small but hopefully growing community. I'm looking forward to see you next time. Bye bye.